Hello there, and welcome to the American Grand Prix, which is round 5 of Global Formula Automobilista Season 2. You join us here at Road America, where, well, as you can see, Taki Inoue has taken the second pole position in the row, keeping out the high-techs from pole position for the second race. Race winner last time. Let's see what he can do to try and catch up to Heidfeld in championship lead. Kamui Kobayashi is back in second place on the grid, a place he's been in all but the last round. See what he can do for high tech, because he's ahead of his teammate Heidfeld. Jim Clark, second in the championship, he's third for Siggy Pop. They managed to upgrade to full power, so let's see what they can do. Sterling Moss, fourth place, fresh off the back of scoring Red Knight's first ever podium at Manicourt in fourth place. Nick Heidfeld's in fifth, starting a little bit higher than he did last time. Lewis Hamilton, will his tyres make it to the end? Well, we'll be a bit squeaky bum time on the last lap, I'm sure about that. And Manuel Fangio takes 7th for Red Knight. Former championship leader Bertrand Gachot is in 4th place in the championship right now, but he's 8th on the grid. Let's see how he can climb up from here. Rossi takes 9th and Stefan Beloff is 10th. David Brabham, he's in 11th, ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who finally scored his first points of the season in France. Villeneuve takes 13th, Senna 14th, and Verstappen is currently the last of the drivers in the points in 15th, but he's got 47 laps to stay there. Chris Hoy, Argentinian Grand Prix winner, he starts 16th, ahead of Jenson Button and Dan Gurney. Phil Hill's 19th, Felix da Costa 20th, Prost 21st, Hakkinen 22nd, ahead of John Watson as 2KF1 look to try and gain a bit close to the front. Michael Schumacher is 24th, one of now 2 drivers who still haven't scored any points this season. Bangalore have had some horrific reliability and unluckiness this season, so hopefully this will be the race where it changes for them. Damon Hill is 25th for Jaws, ahead of Nigel Mansell in the other Jaws. Sophia Flörsch, the other driver not yet to score points, again she's going to need some chaos. And Sergio Perez rounds out the back in 28th as the Bad Rains have retired from the season and we won't be seeing them again unless they decide to rejoin. So it does mean that we have 2 team spots on the grid and plenty more afterwards for anybody else wanting to join, where we will get pre-qualifying. So anybody watching who's not involved, please come over to RaceDepartment and join the series. As the cars begin to line up on the grid, we are nearly ready for the beginning of the American Grand Prix. 47 laps around this rather long circuit, so not as many laps as we've seen in previous races, but same distance. So damage is going to be a problem right early on, but 5 lights are on. Kobayashi, bad start, bit of a bad launch, but he's blocked off Martin Clark, had a terrible start afterwards, as we've got Jaws off the track at the back, but Inoue defends the inside. Kobayashi has a look, as that's Hamilton at the inside. Kobayashi clips Inoue and Kobayashi has spun round. Kobayashi is in the gravel at the beginning of the first corner. It's Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has taken the lead from 6th on the grid. What a start. What an absolute manic start. Inoue is 2nd with Moss up to 3rd. Gachot's up to 4th. Clark down to 5th. Heidfeld now defending from Beloff as we head down the hill into turn 5 on the first lap. Beloff up the inside Heidfeld. Can he get the move done? He can. Pushes Heidfeld onto the curb as Rossi's now going to join in. So Heidfeld drops down to 8th. We go up under the bridge. And now Rossi is having to go at Heidfeld. Rossi round the outside. Nick Heidfeld. Rossi is spun. He's clipped Fangio as he rejoins, but they both got away with it without any damage. And Verstappen is up to 11th. Brabham 12th and Hoy's up to 13th. This is all wide coming out, though whatever corner number that is, I haven't learnt this yet. We'll learn it as the race goes on, but through the carousel they go. Gurney's side by side with Jenson Button for 16th place. What an absolutely manic start. Now it's 12th. Let's see what we've got. So Beloff is now 6th as Clark is having a look at the inside of Gachot. There's a bit of contact, but it's Hamilton who still has the lead. So let's just rewind and let's just see all that again. That was a bit chaotic in the first few corners. and I've got to rewind, so let's just do the start replay now. So Hamilton is 6th on the grid here. It's a decent launch. Kobayashi holds Moss up. Clark then jumps a bit. Hamilton's in the slipstream of Moss. He pulls out in slipstream of Inoue. Inoue's got the lead, but Kobayashi clips him. There's contact between Hamilton and Inoue as he forces his teammate wide. Takes the lead spectacularly. Kobayashi, what's happened to him? So Inoue's ahead, and Kobayashi's tried to... no, there was space there, Cameroon, you didn't take it. That was poor driving by him. So Hamilton up 5, Gasho up 4, he's had a good start. Come on. So Clark's had a decent start, but then he's bogged down, and that's held everyone on the right up. He's sat here behind Clark now. Is he going to go up the inside? So of course Kobayashi spinning out has let everybody up a place. Yeah, he's just got up the inside. Good move. Beloff's had a decent jump. I think he's just profited from Clark holding everybody else up, and that's ruined Heidfeld. And the other big movers, Verstappen inside of Villeneuve is just... there's a few cars running wide in the background as it's Felix da Costa and a bunch of 2 KF1s. Flourish up 7, good start for her. Felix da Costa's down quite a few. Watson's struggling. Kobayashi down as far as he is. So, it's come to the end of the first lap into turn 14. Hamilton's going to exit here and just kick up a bit of dust. So, beginning of the first lap of the American Grand Prix. Hamilton leads from Inoue, Moss, Gasho, as Clark is settling on the rear wing of Gasho. Will he send it up in the inside into turn 1? Turn 1's a bit quick, so Gasho's got it and Clark having to struggle. This straight is apparently turn 2. So into turn 3, better as Clark's defending though. Clark defends. There's actually now quite a big gap as Verstappen's up to 10th. There's a big gap between Rossi and Verstappen already, nearly 2 seconds. Villeneuve has got back past Chris Hoy as we have someone stopped on the exit to turn 1. It's Schumacher, so Michael Schumacher's out already. That looks like a big accident. So we've got 3 rows. We've got Perez up the inside of Felix da Costa and Schumacher. Perez has squeezed Felix and Schumacher's been forced wide. He's rejoined and been clipped by Prost. Oh, what a shame. What a disaster for Schumacher. So Perez has forced Felix into Schumacher. Schumacher's rejoined. No, that wasn't good driving from Michael there. Really wasn't the greatest. You don't just rejoin into the middle of the pack like that. Prost is going to feel aggrieved. This is Schumacher's our first retirement. Having said that Bangalore have had no luck and that the team needs as much as they can get to Schumacher needs some points. Well, that's not happening. Now Hill's under pressure. Felix da Costa gets him back up the hill. Felix da Costa up to 11th there as Schumacher is now retired from the race officially. Through the carousel they go. It's a fantastic long corner, this one, absolutely. As they head towards the fearsome kink. That's the one place where you don't want anything to go wrong. If they have some engine failures or something, they're going to have some catastrophic accidents there. So Rossi's close to Fangio. Heidfeld is getting close to Beloff here. Clark is thinking how to move on Gasho at some point. Probably into turn 1. Actually, oh well, hang on, no. Gasho's got past Clark somewhere in all this mess. There's definitely Gasho ahead of Clark at some point. Okay, it's happened on... it was obviously a while ago. We'll leave it. Gasho's got past Clark now. Moss is now chasing Inoue, so Inoue is actually having a look here at Hamilton. Taki Inoue up the inside. We don't see Hamilton. Hamilton's pushed wide as Inoue brakes and lets him get through. So Hamilton keeps the lead for the moment. But Inoue is right with him, and Moss is now sitting here thinking, can I capitalise? Hamilton seems to have got the power out of there. But in the braking down into turn 5, Inoue is thinking about it. Hamilton's a bit wider. Clark's there. Clark was on the attack at Gasho. Up the inside. Oh, this camera's terrible. Side by side again, but Jim Clark just holds on. And head down into Hurry Downs. And actually, Beloff now sends up the inside of Gasho. Beloff could move, but Gasho's found some speed on the exit curb. Beloff has to settle. Beloff has to settle for 6th place, as that was Valentino Rossi, a wheel on the dirt on the inside of the carousel. Hypo now having to think about Beloff through the kink. That is suicide, surely. As they're all buzzing off the limiters, Beloff streaks past Gasho, but completely outbrakes himself. As Beloff is in the wall. I'm sorry, I flicked through him accidentally. So look, Beloff has got the low downforce setter. The low downforce setter has obviously got a higher gear ratio. I might have to change that for next race. Fix the gear ratios for everyone. But he's just got such speed up the inside, no grip, bang into the wall. And that was such a good move as well. Such a brave move all the way through Kettle Bottoms and into Canada Corner, but Beloff has ended up in the wall. Let's hope he can extract himself. He's going to give it a go, but it's not looking good. Not looking kind, and Beloff's race just evaporating into disaster. Kobayashi now 23rd. Oh, the pain. And all of that. It's a clear flush already. He's up to 60. Actually, make that 15th. She streaks past Gurney. How's she going to get past Senna? She is flush up to 14th. 2 places in one straight. Spectacular driving from the German. And I think, unfortunately, Stefan Beloff has retired from the race. Wow. Missed his braking point, and it's all gone downhill from there. There we go. So Inoue's launched a charge on Hamilton into turn 1. Actually, look at this. Hamilton's got a massive lead. So where's he lost the time? He must have just had a bad exit, and Inoue's got in the slipstream. Hamilton pulls to the outside. Inoue takes the inside line. And he's got the position. Taki Inoue takes back the lead of the American Grand Prix. Better. So that was a bit twitchy from Inoue there. Let's run on board with the race leader as we go through the carousel. He's lifting, lifting, lifting. Cautious about getting on the throttle, but he's finally able to do so. And round through the kink. Scary part of the track. Hamilton's just pulling away. Yeah, they're all buzzing the limiters through here, so I think that's an edit I'm going to have to make for the next race. Give them all the gearing that the low downforce cars have. Especially as we've got Canada coming up, which is all straights. But we'll see how that goes. They're going Taki Inoue having taken the lead now, so it's fastest lap of the race. Yeah, Frost's got a slightly damaged front wing after his accident, but yeah, he's a long way off the rest of the pack now. It's what, 47 seconds. That loss of the front wing was damning on such a long aero-dependent circuit. Kobayashi's up to 22nd already. He's got a long way to climb now. Senna's going to have a go back at Flörsch here, I can see it. Is he going to think about a lunge into turn 5? Probably not. Not this lap, but he's close. Villeneuve here challenging or being challenged by Hoy, as Hoy makes it up into 12th. Verstappen there sat as he's watching Fangio having a look at Nick Heidfeld. So our championship leader's not got the pace at the moment. Car's quick, but he's not doing what he needs to do at the moment. Rossi is sat behind Gasho thinking, what can I do about this? Clark is now looking at Moss, and the two cast drivers have streaked off into the distance at the moment. So Hamilton chasing Inoue and pushing his teammate as hard as he can. Let's see how far it can go. So I think the car slightly jumped over the hill there. But Hamilton's close to Inoue here. Hamilton up the inside. Can he get past the Japanese teammate? There's slight contact. Slight contact again on the exit, but Hamilton is through. Hamilton taps his teammate on the way in, taps his teammate on the way out. Hamilton takes back the lead of the American Grand Prix. But Inoue's in the slipstream. He's probably got a better line out of 3. They head through that kink. The right kink is turn 4. This left kink isn't a corner apparently. Who would have thunk it? But this is turn 5. As Moss is really having to defend now from Jim Clark. Clark has to think about it into 6. That's not a place for a lunge. You can get side by side through there, but don't think so that lap, mate. Heidfeld worrying about what he can do. With Fangio breathing down his neck. Verstappen getting close, though Vettel is breathing down his neck. Chris Hoy up 4 places, surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. As up front we've got Clark and Moss super close again in this battle for third, the final podium spot. Heidfeld falling down the pack a bit. This is Clark's time to catch up towards him in the championship. Clark is 9 points behind Heidfeld, in second place in the standings. So he needs to do what he can to catch up. Clark's here having a look at Moss up the inside into turn 1. Moss turns in, but he's on the marbles. Moss goes wide. Clark gives him space. They're side by side, but Clark makes the move through 2 into 3. Jim Clark moves up to 3rd. Now, can he streak ahead and try to catch up to the cast drivers? That's what he needs, really. Well, they had more points. Heidfeld is having to defend from Fangio and isn't really catching up towards Gasho in 6th. Let's close it all up, and of course the one thing Clark's worried about is that the guy in front of him, Inoue, is behind. He's only 4 points behind Clark, so you know, this can all compress the title battle up the front quite impressively if it carries on like this. Verstappen up into strong 9. This is definitely the best performance we've seen so far from the defending champion. He's picking up the pace, he seems quite comfortable at the moment, and he's got Vettel defending behind him. Villeneuve has got back past Hoy at some point, as they're battling 12th and 13th. See how that goes. Hoy's victory in Argentina is his only point scoring position so far. And really the only ray of light in DTK's season so far. It's been pretty terrible otherwise. You know, they've got the win, but nothing else. And we'll follow this grouping a bit as Hamilton is streaking ahead of Inoue now, and they are pulling away from Clark. So what can Vettel do? Can he catch and pass Verstappen? And it's not looking likely at the moment, or at least into that corner, what I was kind of alluding to more than anything. We head back, I think, yeah, Dan Gurney's having to defend here from Kamui Kobayashi. Gurney for Excelsior and Hill, you know, their home team, their home race, they're definitely hoping to get some points, especially double points. That would be brilliant for them. But it's Kobayashi trying to recover from his disastrous first corner. Out of the slipstream of Gurney, going to go down the hill into turn 5. This should be an easy move. Oh, kicker oversteer. Gives Gurney the space he requires. Leaves it. Gurney's going to fight around the outside. He's going to have the inside over the next kink, and Gurney actually keeps the position. So brilliant move there by Dan Gurney to keep it ahead. Kobayashi up the inside into the next corner. Give each other racing room. Gurney runs wide, and Kobayashi, they're side by side through the carousel. Kobayashi's got the downforce and is able to pull away through the turn. So got there in the end, Kobayashi. Hakkinen out to 16th. The 2KF1 are currently last in the Constructors' Championship, so good results. Score a couple of points here and definitely raise the spirits of the team. Of course, only managed to submit their, or get their car finished at the very last minute before the first race of the season, so not had much time in the car compared to everyone else, which is probably why struggling so much. Hoy's not getting past Villeneuve this lap. Villeneuve has got the slippery low downforce that the DTK doesn't. DTK's got grip through the corners, but yeah, he's got to pass on the straights here, and there are three pretty hoofing great big ones here. In the slipstream though, he's catching. He put it at the inside and outbrake Villeneuve into the next corner. This is what he needs. He's up ahead. Vettel and Brabham are side by side. As Chris Hoy gets the move done on Gilles Villeneuve, he can pull away through this next section of corners. He might be safe. There's 2 seconds now as the gap between Verstappen and Vettel. That's all worked in the Dutchman's favour. Flush still valiantly defending from Senna. Gasher has fallen away a bit from Rossi for the moment. Clark has got past Moss and is gapping him for the moment. Inui's charge on Hamilton is dropping back, as Clark is starting to get a bit closer. So we'll see how long that lasts. Whether Clark can catch up to Inui or if it'll swap again. Seeing that closest on track back at the moment is Hill and Kobayashi. Oh, a bit wider there from Hill on the way in. Wheel on the dirt. Kobayashi had to lift out of it. Obviously wasn't going to have the tyre grip to go across the track or something. I don't know. I didn't see any reason for him to lift there. But he's thinking about it at the inside of Hill. He goes for it. A bit of contact. As I think up ahead. Hoy and Villeneuve were side by side. But Hoy's managed to force him wide at turn 3. Oh no, Brabham's gone. So David Brabham's had an attack on Vettel, but has lost it and gone wide there. Hoy has had to lift out of it, which has allowed Villeneuve right up alongside. But Brabham's then holding up Villeneuve. Hoy forces Villeneuve out onto the dirt, and that's where Villeneuve drops back. So Hoy's now got closer to Brabham. What can he do from there? Villeneuve's low downforce is bringing him in. He's close. Hoy should have the grippers. I don't know what Villeneuve was doing there, but it certainly worked. Villeneuve and Hoy are going to be swapping positions all the time, as one is quicker in one section and one is quicker in the other. Kobayashi has got past Hill, who's now got Gurney and Button right behind him. Thinking, when can I get through? Button up the inside of the Excelsior. Decent move. Get into the carousel. Yep, Button is safely through. You can see the downforce level difference. Hill should streak away down the straight. Gurney though is looking close to Button, but big braking point appears and Button's got the advantage there. He looks across to down the 13th. as we had 2 retirements so far in Schumacher and Beloff. Now, Inoue has brought the gap down to Hamilton, back down to even 1/10 now. Inoue is actually thinking about it. He sends it up the inside in turn 5. Teammates battling. Taki Inoue retakes the lead of the race. So Inoue's been happy to let Hamilton lead for a bit, but it's now time. Whatever Taki's equivalent to hammer time is, it's probably, I don't know, extinguisher time, random communist Hungarian vehicle time. Who knows? Whatever it is, Inoue's taking the lead, and Hamilton is now either got to charge back to his teammate or trying to hold Jim Clark back for longer. See what happens, but Moss's charge on Clark seems to have gone for the moment, as Rossi can't keep up and neither can Gasho. Heidfeld has fended off Fangio and is starting to close on Gasho, but not by too much, as there's now almost a 5-second gap back to Max Verstappen in 9th. Vettel's 10th place ahead of Brabham in 11th, as Villeneuve is back ahead of Hoy and keeping there for the moment, as Inoue sets a new fastest lap, having just passed his teammate. So Villeneuve and Hoy must have held each other up so much that Brabham's been allowed to get a 2-second lead over them now. Prost now having a really good look at Flörsch. That gear change though, Flörsch has taken it back, as the new downforce levels on Senna's car just aren't letting him have the speed, but much later on the brakes, and Flörsch is forced wide. She rejoins a bit sideways, so that Senna up to 14th. Brilliant move there. Yeah, as I was saying, new downforce levels, high downforce later on the brakes. You can do that, and he did do that. So, yeah. Kobayashi's almost recovered into the points. In 16th place. Helm's back to 3/10 with Inoue. This could be a long, basically a slipstream battle between these two, as they keep yo-yoing between each other. It's just how long will Kias allow this to happen before Team Order stop it, because it could all end in tears if they don't pay attention. I mean, we see what happened to Schumacher when he got forced wide. Now if Hamilton goes at the inside of Inoue and Inoue gets forced wide, he could rejoin straight into Clark or Moss. So Hamilton's going to have a go. Thinking about it, can he outbrake Inoue? No, he can't. Inoue sweeps through into the lead. He's got a bad exit and Hamilton's closing. Clark is now super close as well. Clark's within a second. So if these two hold each other too much, Jim Clark could get 1 or 2 of them. They have got the back marker at some point up ahead, as I think we have Damon Hill has lost his rear wing. Yes, we do have someone with some damage. So Hill is getting really close to Button here. What's going to happen? I see he's run a bit wide and he's been hit. He's been hit by his teammate. So Mansell is defending from Felix da Costa. Oh, Hill runs a bit wide and Mansell runs a bit too hot into the corner. That is some pretty poor driving by Nige. Yeah, he's braked too late. So now, George GP have got a front and a rear wing. He replaces them. Who's going to get a priority? Mansell comes in. Hill's going to have to carry on. So Inoue still leads. Hamilton second and Clark now right with them. 8/10 cover the top 3. He screamed through the middle sector. Yeah, Clark is closing massively. but he's going to struggle to pass them because the CAS cars have got a lot of power and they've still got the low downforce. So yeah, as we can see, the CAS are streaking ahead in the straight. Hamilton annoys Inoue there in the Canada corner, and because they're annoying each other, Clark has flown back right up behind them, but then it's bits of power, can't quite keep up. So 3 long straights are keeping Cass ahead. That's the only thing keeping them ahead at the moment. As they're side by side again across the line. Hamilton and Inoue on the outside. What's going to happen to him? So he's going to turn into the corner first. He takes the lead, keeps the lead. There's Clark up the inside. No, it's not happening now. Not yet, at least. Moss isn't really closing. He's not really closing at the moment. As we'll watch from Jim Clark. Hamilton moves to the inside again of Inoue. Into turn 5, bit of dirt on the tyres as Hamilton takes the lead. Hamilton rejoins the lead at the American Grand Prix. But how long can he keep Inoue there? And how long can Inoue keep Clark there? Clark here is thinking, if I can get past Inoue, that's going to be championship lead on my end. I need this. This is bringing Moss into the equation. It's bringing Rossi in as well. As I've seen in the background that Chris Hoy has repassed Jules Villeneuve, 12th place. That's going to rattle on until the pit stops, I think. Unless they come in at the same time, I can see one of them suddenly having the outright pace on the other and pulling away. And Moss is 2.5 seconds off the lead. Clark is close to Inoue, and Inoue has actually fallen back from Hamilton for this lap at the moment. As they're all about to put Damon Hill under a lap, as Inoue's had to lift off down the straight for some reason, and Clark is really close up, but he pulled out the slipstream way too early when he knows he's got the straight line deficit. He's going to have to sit there and get Inoue in the brakes into turn 5. That's got to be his primary target, is it? Yes, Inoue is a bit wide there and a bit wobbly into 3. But through the kink of 4, stay in the slipstream, stay in the slipstream. Hamilton isn't giving Inoue one. And nail him on the brakes. Go on, Jim. What can you do? No, buzzing on the limiter too much. Carries on up the straight. So, as we were, for a moment, Gasher is currently trundling around. But that's going to be Damon Hill in front of him, about to be lapped. Adrian Verstappen and 9th, Bradmock's 10th because Vettel's 11th, and Hoy has got a 2.5 from Villeneuve now. So now Hoy's through. He should be streaking away. Kobayashi's got into the points and pushed Flörsch out. Hakkinen 17th. Button's now had a Gurney and Felix Costa struggling in 21st. Yeah. Moss has joined this group in the battle for second. Hamilton's got 1.2 seconds on his teammate. So for the moment Hamilton has disappeared and is keeping everyone at bay. Clark is hounding Inoue. He definitely is. It's Clark and Moss and Rossi, so a few of them are just starting to get their fuel warning, so pit stops are approaching. Pit stops will be happening quite soon. Clark not able to close down the straights, but he is able to get super close through the corners. Yeah, well, he's not going to do much down the straight. Inoue is comfortably quicker than him through there. It's this section of corners is where it's going to get mighty interesting. Inoue has missed the apex by a country mile. But there we go, so we see Sterling Moss is coming in this lap, so is Gasho, so is Heidfeld and Fangio. Verstappen 2, Chris Hoy, Hakkinen. Yeah, so we've got a good bunch of cars coming in for pit stops this lap. Hamilton's cleared Inoue for the moment, and Jim Clark's probably got another lap under to do before he comes in. He is sat behind Inoue. He's going to have to hope that he can show some ultimate pace. Try and pass the Cass in this pit stop window. He's going to hope that he doesn't get dropped back into the middle of the pack, although it sounds like the middle of the pack is about to get ready to pit. So, could Moss, Gasho and Heidfeld and Fangio and Verstappen all find their races suddenly ruined by being dropped into that group at about 18th? Well, we'll find out in about 30 seconds. So Hamilton leads a bit low on fuel. Inoue second, getting a bit low on fuel. Clark really getting low on fuel. He's in third here. He's in the slipstream. Can he make a move into turn 1? I don't think he will. He's cleverer than that. He's going to sit here and wait and see what he can get away with. Ross is coming this lap as Moss is in, Gasho's in, Heidfeld's in, Fangio's in, Bram carries on, Tell carries on, Verstappen's in, Chris Hoyer's in. A lot of cars coming into the pits now. As Hamilton gets priority over Inoue, coming to the pits. Clark isn't coming in yet, but Rossi is. Jim Clark trying to find a way past Inoue. It might be worth trying something like a stupid, like, around the outside of the carousel. Because that's what it's going to take to annoy Inoue enough. Get past him. Nothing so far. So Hamilton's 1.7 second lead over his teammate. That's third. Bram now 5th, Patel, a load more cars. So who was the first to pick us out? So Gasho's come out in 15th place. Heidfeld's come out in 17th. Actually, where's Sterling? Moss is 11th. There we go. Fangio's 19th. Stafford and Hoy got some clear air. So some guys have got clear air. Some guys admired in the melee, the midfield. Hamilton carries on. Clark. Inoue's coming in this lap. Clark is coming in this lap. Rossi's in. Brabham's coming in this lap. Patel's coming in this lap. Villeneuve is carrying on another lap. Kobayashi's making his stop. Senna's making his stop. A lot of pit stops happening. There's Inoue and Clark carrying on in the lead, although Inoue has now disappeared ahead. So Villeneuve gets up in the 4th. Hamilton is going to drop out. Some clear air unless Flörsch manages to get past. Although I don't think so. This is super close actually. Flörsch is right on the tail of Hamilton. Her light fuel load is probably the only thing that's going to help her. But actually Moss has got ahead of Rossi. Actually it was like that beforehand. Gurney's up tonight, so he's going to pit. Heidfeld is sat behind Gasho, though he's got a clear gap over Fangio. The rest of the scenes are pretty much the orders they were in at the moment. So Inoue gets ready to come in this lap. Clark is falling away from Inoue now that the Japanese hasn't got anyone to follow or to defend against. So where are these two going to exit in relation to Lewis Hamilton and Sterling Moss? Inoue exiting into the pits. It's an aggressive pit lane entry, this one. But they're on the brakes and into the lane. So the rest of the pit crew's there. They're both racing Lewis Hamilton, who's currently in 4th place. Flörsch has been defeated. Rossi is right on the tail of Moss now for 6th place. Net, I don't know. Just had the Flörsch and Villeneuve, got to get out of the way. So Inoue and Clark are moving, but Hamilton streaks down the start straight. Where do they appear? There's Inoue. There's Clark. Hamilton crashes into his teammate. There's contact. Don't think there's damage, but Hamilton has lost an awful lot of time with that. As Inoue now is in the lead, So Inoue, having been released by Hamilton, has done a lightning outlap, or in-lap even, and it's caught Hamilton out. So Clark now is fighting Hamilton for second place, while Inoue is the one that streaks ahead. Clark needs to make the move on Hamilton to keep up with Inoue, so he can close up in the championship. Moss's fourth place is pretty close, and Rossi's not that far off either. Although it's 6 seconds back to Bertrand Gachot. Heidford's a further 2 back from Fangio. Verstappen and Brabham are battling. It's Kobayashi has managed to get past both Chris Hoy and Gilles Villeneuve. If Kobayashi moves up into 12th, as Hoy and Villeneuve are just going to be battling with each other again, it seems. Although with Hoy ahead, if he can just keep the speed up through the next couple of corners, it should be very tough for Villeneuve to get back past him. So Flörsch and Hakkinen are sitting just outside the points as it stands. Excelsior, that's an Excelsior without a rear wing, Dan Gurney. Where's that disappeared? And he's come out the pits and has been clipped by Felix da Costa. Da Costa has a big spin off into the gravel. Another driver with very little luck this season, Felix da Costa. He does at least seem to make it out the gravel. But that's an extra pit stop for both Excelsior and DTK Racing. Prost is going to make his pit stop after losing his front wing early. So Inoue's got a 7/10 lead over Hamilton, who's got a 6/10 to Clark. Got 1 and a bit to Moss, he's got only 5 to Rossi. So 3.5 seconds to covering the top 5. We're heading on to lap 20. Hamilton is right on the tail of Inoue and he's going to send one. He sends one at the inside into turn 5 and Lewis Hamilton retakes the lead of the American Grand Prix. This is some spectacular driving by the teammates. They've got enough respect to not drive into each other, but they've got just enough pace in that car to keep it ahead in 1-2, even though Clark is breathing down the necks of both of them. Clark is waiting for that one mistake, that one, slight out braking, slight running wide, bit of a lock up, someone being forced slightly too wide, and he will get back through. But for the moment, the CAS drivers are able to battle and fight for position without losing it, so you've got to give them credit. And, well, put it this way, if CAS Racing are going to win this race, I don't know which driver is, because they're swapping all the time. So Inoue has an awful exit which allows Clark to draw up wide. He draws up close and Clark's in the slipstream now. Can he outbrake Inoue into first corner? I really don't think so. He's not going to. As Prost has rejoined the pits, exiting pits right in between the two leaders. So Inoue is now being held up by Alain Prost, which is going to give him the slipstream actually down this hill. And unless Prost really shoves Inoue wrong like that, that's some terrible driving by Prost. Inoue is trying to get past, he finally lifts off, but Clark has to break out of it. Moss gets out of the way as Rossi is going to capitalise on this and try and send it up the inside. Up into turn 6, it's got the inside line. Prost is still blocking the pair of them. Moss takes the position back. It's all going to depend on what Prost does at the next corner into turn 8. The answer is completely block Moss, but then Rossi's also stuck, so... well, he's ruined everyone's race equally, I suppose. Consistency. But well, saying that, Rossi's 3 seconds behind the leader, now becomes 6, so... that has not gone to plan whatsoever. Felix Costa finally makes it into the pits as the Dangani. Dane Hill pops up in 23rd now, getting past both of them. Senna 15th, last in the points. Villeneuve is 14th, still chasing Chris Hoy. Vettel is now down to 12th as Kobayashi's made out to 11th. As Brabham and Verstappen are still battling now in this squabble for 9th place. So who's that? As Felix Costa exits the pits in front of Verstappen. So how is trying to get past the DTK driver going to affect the battle in Brabham and Verstappen? Verstappen is clearly slower than Brabham, but he's got that low downforce set up, which is just, low drag and the better gearbox, keeping him behind. Felix Costa lives out of it, and Brabham squeezes through. Rossi is now 6.5 seconds off the lead. Yeah, the back marks of Prost did not help him at all, any way, shape or form. Clark is half a second behind Inoue, but thanks to the back markers, Inoue's gap to Hamilton has become over 2 seconds, and I don't think his heart's in it anymore, really. He's going to have to use so much of the tyres to catch up that they won't be able to make an overtake when he gets there. Over the top of the hill. Nothing much happening. I mean, they're close, but not close enough. That's the sad thing. Of course, it's great for his teammate. Sprinting away at the front. Brabham now, right on the tail of Verstappen. He's sitting in this slipstream for as long as he can. Don't lift when you pull out wide, you moron. Oh, Brabham's not. Well, Brabham's not doing what he needs to get that pass done at all, is he? That's quite pathetic, I must say. Villeneuve now trying to lap Felix da Costa. Does so. As Felix da Costa unlaps himself in the exit of the corner, DTK's just got more grip. And this is some brilliant teamwork to get Chris Hoy up ahead, a long way away from Villeneuve, but Villeneuve is understandably fuming. You do not want to see that. Back markers meddling in a race that they're not involved in. So we're about to reach the halfway point of the race, so Lewis Hamilton 2.9 second, nearly 3 second lead now, after some back markers interfered. Just gave Hamilton the gap he needed to open up enough for a gap to Inoue that he can't now use the slipstream to catch up. Inoue in second place is defending hard from Jim Clark. In third, a fellow title rival. Sterling Moss in fourth, with Valentino Rossi in fifth. Largest gap back to Bertrand Gachot after this. Nick Hardford there. Hardford's going to have a go at lapping Prost into turn 1. Brave out the high filming move. Fangio's 8th. Verstappen is 9th with Brabham right behind here. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? He is. Brabham at the inside, but Verstappen on the outside line. Verstappen's fed off the track. Rejoins, and Kobayashi's going to do what he can. So Kobayashi, yes, he's 11th, but he can find a way past Verstappen. He'll be 10th. Don't think this lap. Vettel is 12th. Ahead of Chris Hoy, who's actually close to Vettel. And Villeneuve, who is falling away a bit. Thanks to back marker shenanigans. DTK and Harvey having a championship battle for the championship last year. It's not the same when it's the battle for 12th, is it, unfortunately, but we've got some new guys at the top and they're making just as much of a race of it. So we'll see what they say. Villeneuve's 14th, Senna 15th, Loesch 16th, Hackman 17th, Button, Hill, Perez, Watson, Mansell. Hill is about to be lapped by Hamilton. And then, Prost, Gurney, Felix, Acosta round us out. Hill diligently lets Hamilton through. The gap is now down to 1.7 seconds, although Hill's going to ruin Inui's race when he tries to get past. Apologies for yawning. I have been up since 5:30, stood outside in the hot sun all day, and it is currently 11:15 at night, so, you know, I'm just going to have to live with it. Inouye gets past Hill without losing too much time, so he has gained a second with the back markers. Although unfortunately for him, Clark has stuck with him. Do need to check back here because Max Verstappen has lost 2 places to both Brabham and Kobayashi in the last few corners. Brabham's obviously got past him somewhere, and now Kobayashi's forced him wide at turn 1. Well, he's tried to force him, hold it around the outside, but not going to happen on those marbles. Bit of dirt there for Inouye. Can Clark use this as an opportunity? Well, not with his straight line deficit. Catch up through the turns, which he does. I think Heidfeld has just got past Bertram Gasho. That's something we've not seen for a while. Or that it's happened in the pit stops or something and I didn't even notice. No, I'm sure it's... whatever. Anyway, Heidfeld is ahead of Gasho, which it wasn't like earlier. Let's live with that. You know what I mean. Villeneuve has got past both Hoy and Vettel. So perhaps yes, I think it might even be Felix da Costa has let Villeneuve through on both of them. Is it? No. Oh, so Vettel dropped back and Villeneuve has just found a way past. Well then. Who'd have thunk it? Hamilton's got his lead back to 2.2 seconds. As Inouye is being pursued by Clark relentlessly. Moss has got to worry because Ross is there. As Gasho is keeping Heidfeld honest as well. Let's run on what was 5th, Loesch in 16th place. Now into the middle section, we've got a bit of a 90-degree corner up ahead. And then straight away into the carousel. A constant radius, more than 180-degree corner that you need a brilliant exit for a long straight. You've got this kink, which is not much runoff for the speed you approach through there. down the back straight into Canada corner, so called because it points straight at Canada, which is only a few miles north of this track. Do this left-hander, heavy braking for the final corner, which is actually pretty quick, and onto the front straight. And pit lane entry on the right. That bit of a hill you got to climb up to get there. Clark is right on the tail of the Inouye again, but it's a struggle to get past Inouye. Straight's a killer, absolutely killer. Rossi and Moss aren't having the same problem. They've both got the same downforce levels and therefore the same drag. Their power levels, the Sigipot should be just faster in the straights, so Rossi now is close to Moss. Shan't be long before he mounts an attack, I suppose. Inouye and Clark up ahead are still super close to the middle sector. Rossi and Moss do the same thing. Inouye is struggling through here. I mean, look at the gap he's falling. It's now 3.5 seconds in Inouye and Hamilton. And Inouye got too much curve through the carousel, got a bit of a slide, and Clark just did the same thing in sympathy. And that was his chance. Gap increases as they go through like the 3 straights. And it closes up in the middle sector, but not enough. The overtaking point in the middle sector is in the middle of it, not the end of it. So Clark can catch up to the final corners and sit in the slipstream. Turn 1 is too fast for a proper out-braking manoeuvre. Well, as soon as Clark's on the limiter, that's when the advantage disappears and Inouye is able to just pull a lead for the braking point. We're at 4 seconds now, Hamilton to Inouye. So Lewis is streaking away up ahead. Clark on the brakes getting 3/10 as we head into this bit. It's not going to be enough. He needs to get a lot closer. He wants to make a move and save this corner. This move that's obviously not going to happen. Kobayashi now has passed David Brabham. Verstappen puts a lap on Gurney. Villeneuve, Horn, Fatale are not sorted. I think this round board with the 2KF1, because we've not seen much from them this season, because they've been a bit too far at the back, but the Australian team has turned up with a livery, they've got on the grid, and they're currently, that's the easiest way to put this, last in the championship, well no, joint 14th with NLE Motorsport. You know, they're, if you were to tell 2KF1 that after 4 rounds they've been the same amount of points as the defending champions, that sounds pretty good, but when that number is 3, you've got to be worrying about what have they done? Well, really, it's what have NLE Motorsport have done, and why are 2KF1 struggling as much as well? But into the brakes, and that's where 2KF1 currently sit. Mance was getting a bit low on fuel, but he made a pit stop at a different time to everyone else, as this is the closest Clark has looked to Inoue for a while. I mean, not close enough to launch an attack, but close enough that Inoue can't afford to rest through the carousel. Both Siggy Pops seem to be stuck behind the car they think they're quicker than. Not able to do anything about it. Bit of a slide there for Highfield through the carousel, but he's kept it going. The lead up front is now 5 seconds. Or it flashed 2, there you go, it is 5 seconds now, so Hamilton's got 5 over his teammate. Mighty impressive seeing as they've been swapping places all race. Villeneuve here trying to lap down Gurney. Up at the kink, which has held Hoy back, so I think Villeneuve's probably won that battle now. Hoy makes his move on the back marker, as Vettel is stuck there. Max has only got a couple of corners before he'll make his stop. As we got further back, so Hill's got a blue flag as well. It's Felix da Costa is actually the last driver everyone left. Beloff and Schumacher still are the only retirements of the race. 5.2 seconds now is the lead that Hamilton has over Inoue. Moss has defended off Rossi for the moment. Mansell stops. There's Jim Clark now in third place to set the fast lap of the race. Dan Gurney trying to let, I think it was Senna through. There's a big moment through the carousel, but keeps it going. So, fastest round on track is Jim Clark. Can he now use this to his advantage and get past Inoue? So what, Will on the dust, Inoue's run wide. Inoue's wide on the marbles, but Clark takes too much speed and has to lift out before the exit curb. Doing what he can do. On the brakes. And Inoue's quite happy. Sat behind, 4 tenths, buzzing on the limiter. Clark must hate that sound now. I mean, everyone hates that sound in the car. Buzzing on the limiter for too long, but Clark knows he's quicker than Inoue. And it just doesn't want to work, unfortunately. But here we go. A few of these lead drivers are just starting to get low on fuel again. So we're about to see the second band of pit stops. It's Hill now will be coming in this lap. And now he's going to start back here and watch Clark sit in the slipstream all the way down the hill. Only a bit wider of the curb on the way in, but yeah, it's a decent enough exit. Three tenths again to the middle sector. Not good enough from Clark. Unable to get close at the right parts of the track. So with a kink he can try, but I doubt anything is going to happen from it. So Moss will probably be coming in the next couple of laps, I reckon. So, Sterling Moss in 4th place coming in this lap. As Jim Clark's going to have another attempt to get past Inoue. See, as they get towards the end, Inoue's just got the legs on him. Look at that. Superior downforce for the straights. And unfortunately superior gear ratios. This was something I hadn't expected to be so powerful. This will be patched, the gear ratios, for the next round in Canada. Everyone will have the same gear ratios so that hopefully those in the high downforce aren't stuck buzzing on the limiter. It was bad in some previous races, but not this noticeable. So sorry to everyone who's affected. But I mean, it might make it worse, who knows, we'll see. But we'll give it a go for Canada. Sterling Moss is going to be the first one to pit. Yeah, a bunch of them in the midfield now exited the pit lane. There was some battling going on, which I'm trying to find, but I missed it. So I'm just going to play some awful noises as I flick through everyone. So Inouye hasn't even got low fuel though, so he's going to be making his pit stop later than everyone else. Moss comes in this lap. iPod's coming in. Gasho isn't yet. So let's see how the orders change after these pit stops. Perez managed to get past Chris Hoy up in 17th. Lewis Hamilton's lead is now 6 seconds over Clark. Clark has got past Inouye somewhere. All of this, I've missed it. All that time I was following him, and the time I'm flicking through everyone else is when the overtake actually happens, and this looks pretty certain. So what's happened here? Down into turn 5, Inouye's got a bit on the grass and he's run wide on the marbles. There's contact side to side, but Clark gets past, and takes 2nd place off Inouye. Now, he needs to put his foot down because we're about to have the pit stops. He needs some stunning in-laps now to get him ahead of Inouye. Keep him there. Rossi's pitting this lap, as is Gasho and Fangio and Kobayashi and Brabham. So Moss is in 9th and about, well, here compared to Rossi, who's there. I mean, look on the track map, it should be fine. And I think, hang on, we've got a few cars that stopped. Fangio and Gasho both I think they've both run out of fuel at the same time. Same point on the track. That's two cars. That sounds like engines are gone. Two teams not paying attention to their fuel gauges. Left the drivers out for a lap too long. Look how it goes. So Prost here holding up Moss. That's going to help. Rossi in his battle against him. Rossi does make it into the pits. So Inoue is staying out. Clark's coming in this lap. Hamilton's coming in this lap. Oh well, a couple of decent drivers in the middle of the pack actually. And now drop down the pack. Fangio and Gasho on for some points. That's going to help other people who are hoping to score something. So we'll see who that's going to benefit. That's Inoue getting past Jim Clark back down the straight. So Clark drops back down as Inoue thinks about being past, or whatever. Hamilton is coming in this lap. He's got a 4-second lead now over Inoue. Clark is now a bit angry because he's dropped back, but he needs his out lap to be blistering compared to Inoue's in lap. So we'll see how that goes. Rossi has appeared there, so Rossi has jumped Moss in the pit stops. Moss stuck behind Prost. Helped him out there. Villeneuve is coming in this lap, so where's he going to be in relation to Chris Hoy? Flush is coming in from 8th. Kobayashi, Brabham, Verstappen. So Brabham seems to be comfortably ahead of Verstappen now. Hoy is in 12th. Hill next into the stops. So Hamilton into the pits. Inoue is trying to now lap Jenson Button as Jim Clark makes it in. Inoue takes back the lead of the race. He's coming in this lap. Let's follow his in lap. See how it goes. So pretty calm through turn 1. Nothing too ragged so far. A little bit of oversteer on the curb. Keeps it going, keeps it pointing where he needs it to. Pick up the speed down the straight. Hard on the brakes, a little bit of dirt. I see. He keeps doing that. Too much dirt on the way in. Running wide at turn 5. That's where Clark is getting the chance to get past him. That's what he needs to stop doing. It's giving him the chance to get the position back. Because he's got the speed, he's got the top speed over Clark, but he's losing the time on the exit when he does that. So Hamilton's got 4 seconds over Clark still. As they're in the middle sector, there's 2 lapped cars of Mansell and Watson between Hamilton and Clark. So Hamilton isn't going to struggle defending from Clark even if Clark is quicker. He's losing time with back markers. Yeah, so Clark has just had to pass John Watson. I mean, look how far back Clark is. Oh, he's just going into Canada corner now, and of course we followed Inoue into the pits. But long pit stop. Oh, it should be shorter because he's not going to have to do as many laps. Let's see where he exits. Of course, being low in the championship last year, the Cass pit lane is further down the lane. So there we go. So Hamilton takes the lead. And Inoue does exit the pits ahead of Clark, but Clark's got so much more speed as there's contact, and Clark loses his front wing. Clark smashes into the back of Inoue, who's parked on the apex, and somehow Inoue keeps his rear wing. Somehow this has worked out perfectly for Inoue. He just sits there as Clark piles into the back. As long as Inoue doesn't have a puncture or anything cruel and ironic, he should be fine. As whoa! Inoue gets some air. So exiting the pit, so there you go. Anyway, you can see Clark, he's leaving him space, but he's got to the corner. I don't think Clark quite knew what he was doing there. Clark's going to be ruining that one, because this was his chance to get some championship points. There's one little bit of air. The cash driver. Well, Clark is now going to struggle. Rossi's going to get a promotion onto the podium here. As they head down the straight, so Clark hoping to use this as a chance to bolster his championship chances against Heidfeld and catch up to him. Has just thrown it all away and he's not doing his teammate any favours. Rossi does get through though, and Clark is now holding off Sterling Moss for a couple of corners at least. Clark, having ruined it for Rossi, is now playing the proper teammates game and just parking it in the middle of the corner. There we go, Moss up into 4th now, but big gap, 3.5 seconds to the car he was right behind a few laps ago. As Nick Heidfeld's out the race now. Championship leader Nick Heidfeld. I don't think that's fuel. I think his engine has been squeaky bum timed. Through the carousel, yep, engine, big cloud of black smoke. Nick Heidfeld for High Tech Racing, winner of 2 races, finisher in each race so far. He's got plenty of points, but 6th place has gone. This is the lifeline that Jim Clark needs, really. After he's lost his front wing, I mean, look at the massive lead that there is between 5th and 6th. That's Clark is going to lose too many positions with his late race pit stop. Now Heidfeld's gone. Well, where can he get to? So Clark comes in to replace his front wing. He's going to put new set tyres and doesn't need to refuel really. So it's just a nose cone. Inoue, unless something happens to him, will probably take the championship lead. Will he? 20 points. Yeah, he should do. So Inoue's looking good here. It's whether Clark is going to be able to get the required 9 points to jump Heidfeld. To do that, he's actually going to have to finish 7th, but he's dropped back to 10th, almost 11th in Vettel. Boyd's taking him out, which he just about does. There's more contact pit exit. So 7th is the magic place if Clark wants to get past Heidfeld, and that is where Max Verstappen currently is. So everything's kind of sorted itself out now, so let's just go through. Hamilton's going to cross the line to complete 39 laps. There's about 7 laps now as Hamilton sets new fastest lap. So Lewis Hamilton from 6th on the grid is now leading the race. His teammate Taki Inoue in 2nd place, down 1 place. Ross is up 6 into 3rd, with Moss in 4th, about to put a lap on John Watson. Kobayashi, having started 2nd, spun at the first corner, recovered up to 5th. That's a brilliant drive from the Japanese so far, although he's going to be ruining what could have been this race. Brabham is 6th, up from 11th place on the grid, and Verstappen up to 7th, so defending champion finally getting show some pace here, up from 15th on the grid. He's being chased though by Gilles Villeneuve in 8th, who's had a massive scrap with Chris Hoy all the race, who's now up into 9th. Clark, after his extra pit stop for a new front wing, is down into 10th, with Vettel up into 11th and Senna 12th. Flörsch from 27th on the grid is up to 13th, finally starting to look like she's getting to the grips and is not that far away from her first points of the season. Hakkinen up into 14th, so he could score some well needed points for 2KF1 if he's careful, and Button in 15th. Hill is 16th, or Phil Hill even, Sergio Perez 17th, Mansell 18th, Watson in 19th is coming in for a new rear wing. So maybe there was contact with Moss, as I predicted. Yes, Moss seems to be missing a front wing. He is, so that's a miscommunication between the pair of them. Hill is 20th, Frost 21st, Gurney 22nd, Felix Costa 23rd, and then a load of retirements. But we need to focus here on 4th place Sterling Moss, so he's driving around the front wing like Clark was doing, all from turn 1 as well. So he's probably going to fall behind wherever Clark is in 10th, which promotes Clark up to 9th, which will mean that Clark's only got 2 positions to make up if he wants to get enough points to get ahead of Heidfeld. Inoue is now 9 seconds off the lead, so Hamilton's got spectacular pace, although he's a bit wide there trying to lap Perez. Perez, of course, here today it's definitely Perez. It's definitely, I hope it's not Hulkenberg. Who knows? I don't quite think this game can simulate global pandemics, but we're simulating in it. Regardless, Moss is now 12th, annexed in the pits, down in 13th, so that loss of the front wing has been a disaster for him. Flush approached the 12th, Senna 11th, and Vettel 10th. Clark now 9th. 3.5 seconds of Chris Hoy is in 8th place. High downforce on the Hoy and not much less power, so DTK should be easy to pass if he can catch up. Villeneuve's low downforce, though, as Chris Hoy has seen, it's really hard to pass the Bravera of Gilles Villeneuve. Verstappen's up to 6th now thanks to that. Kobayashi promoted to 4th, so he's getting his way back up the grid as well. Decent drive for Kobayashi. We've not seen many of his moves. There's been enough of them. Nothing really fair enough. So actually, Button in 14th, back to Phil Hill in 16th. There's a fair 3-way scrap here for the final points, and one of these guys is going to go away empty-handed if nothing else happens. It looks like the track's been fast enough that squeaky bum time isn't going to be a bit of a thing. So, I'll probably be done well before bums get squeaky. But who knows? Squeaky bum time might not be engines. It could be tyres. And that front left is looking a bit prime on your Carl Lewis, leading quite comfortably. You just got to hope that that tyre doesn't get squeaky bummed. Inoue in 2nd is still looking comfortable. It's 8 seconds, but it's not in the ball. Rossi in 3rd has got a 25-second gap back to Kobayashi in 4th place. So Bradman 5th is 51 off. It's all really close from about 5th down to 16th. It's 40 seconds covering them, and 40 seconds covering top 4. Villeneuve is closing up towards Verstappen. It's less than a second now between the pair of them. Hoy is too far back, and Clark has brought a second and a half off this gap to Hoy since the last time I checked. Moss is 13th, is looking dire from where they were before. Hackman is holding off Hill for the moment. Which of these guys will score the points? Perez is close to getting Bangalore or something. It's Felix Costa now on the back of Gurney. thinking of how to move into Canada corner. He's got the downforce. He could go for it. He forces Gurney wide. Felix da Costa, good move up inside Dan Gurney. Gurney is going to have the power down the back straight, so I'll see. But this scrap 21st seems like nothing, but a couple of places, and suddenly they're earning a little bit more money for their teams. Look at that, the low downforce on Gurney's car. And Excelsior just streams past Felix, but Felix gets him on the corner, gets the cut back from the apex with the downforce. Simple as you like. Hamilton sets a new fastest lap. Inoue cannot really keep up. Rossi nowhere but comfortable. Toby actually doing what he can. Brabham, well, there's points, isn't there? Villeneuve is getting the gap now to around half a second between him and Verstappen. Hakkinen and Hill, as Sterling Moss's car is blown up. So I was flicking back to find Hill and Hakkinen because they've done something crazy. Sterling Moss's engine has squeaky bombed out this race. Heading through turn 7. Oh, into 8. The engine's not had a good day. That engine has decided to disappear out of this race. It's behind us. Hill and Hakkinen have crashed. So Hill has completely outbraked himself, whacked into Hakkinen, sent them both into the wall at turn 5. No, what are you doing, Phil? That is a disaster for the pair of these drivers. Bang! So Hill's ripped his wheel off, so Hill is definitely out this race. While Hakkinen is now sat without a front or rear wing thinking, oh, I didn't deserve this. Hakkinen, he wants to get going, wants to get back to the pits, but I think he's wedged there. I don't think he's going to get out. And heartbreak for the 2KF1 driver who's on to score some points. Hill is out of the race, there's no question about that. But Perez has now found himself in 14th place with Moss's retirement, of course. So Clark has got past Chris Hoy somewhere in all this mess. And 3 drivers have just retired in quick succession. Watson 23rd, Gurney 22nd. Now it's all about to change as they put it around here. Prost tries to avoid crashing into his teammates as Hakkinen is still... I really hope he decides to retire and he's not stuck in purgatory like Damon was in Interlagos, because once again that ruined prior overtaking spot. So, let's see, Hill is going to come through and goes up to 16th. Yes, he does. So Nigel Mansell is now last of the point scorers. Versus 14th is... Oh, he's just coming into turn 5, the yellow flag zone. Right. Yeah, Hakkinen 23rd now, Hill 22nd. Watson's still going. He's just about to get past. Moss. Okay, so everyone is now past the retired drivers. Watson's now 2 laps down. Gurney 19th, Felix Acosta 18th, Prost, Hill. So Mansell is in the points for George GP. Perez 14th, getting a couple of points. Button, Flörsch, Senna Patel, Hoy is 9th, Clark is 8th. Villeneuve 7th is catching up to Verstappen. He can't make a move and Jim Clark is going to come along and try and do something about that. He can see some strong points up ahead. Villeneuve's up the inside of Verstappen into turn 5. He's got the move done. He has got the move done. And Miller moves up in 6th as Verstappen drops into 7th. Clark and Hoy are closing up. What can they do in these last few laps? Anyway, into turn 1 is quite happy. Hamilton is comfortably leading with 2 laps to go. Miller streaks away from Verstappen. Verstappen is now sat here watching Clark getting closer and closer to the mirror. Clark, of course, the quicker driver. Got soft, brand new tyres. For all intents and purposes, he should find a way soon. He's actually having a look into the final corner. Slight contact with Verstappen. He just keeps it going. Seems quite happy with it at the moment. 2 laps to go. He's going to have to make a move somewhere. Turn 1 is not going to happen just because he hasn't got the top end speed. Turn 3, oh, there's contact with Verstappen. He bumps him wide, Verstappen gives it up. Verstappen accepts that Clark just wants it more. And he's decided to just go for the points. Don't just take 8th place, take the points. Clark's going to punt you out the way. We want the points, guys. Let us have them. Don't throw it away for personal grievances. Hoy probably isn't close enough to make a move, especially with his downforce levels. So, 1 lap to go. Hamilton looking pretty happy up ahead. 11-second lead, we're heading to the yellow flag zone for Hakkinen. Just got a couple of back markers to navigate. Whether he'll catch up enough to them to let him through, who knows? Making them a sec to Gurney, a bit wide for turn 7, so perhaps he's already seen that Hamilton's approaching and is thinking, yes, I'll just let you through, mate. He does. Hamilton's let through quite calmly. But hang on. I think Clark is out the race. Clark's had a big crash. Clark has lost his front wing. And the penultimate set of corners is catching up to Villeneuve. What's going to happen? Oh, he's lost it on the curbs. Oh, it's a big hit with the wall there. I think his engine might have gone. Judging by that, or has it gone in the corner? So he's turned in hard. No, yes, his engine has gone. His engine's gone. He clattered into the wall super hard. That is an enormous accident for Clark, and that is going to ruin his charge. Heidfeld is going to be the happiest man to see that. Absolutely. So Verstappen up to 7th again, as Hoy's not able to stay close. And well, one more twist in the tail as Clark gets squeaky bum time, even though squeaky bum time isn't really officially a thing in this race yet. It doesn't happen till 1/2 the hour. But Hamilton, he survived squeaky bum time. His tyres are all good as Lewis Hamilton wins the American Grand Prix for Cass Racing. 2 wins in a row for Cass. Stunning drive for the team as Inouye comes across the line in 2nd to make it a 1-2. A 1-2 for the Irish team. Rossi puts a lap on Perez. He crossed the line to record a podium. His first podium of the season. And Kobayashi from last after turn 1. Gonna come round the end of the lap. To put his car in 4th place, just missing out on the podium. He's had 1 podium at Imola. But that's going to bring him up quite surprisingly, stunningly, up the leaderboard. David Brabham, who's had some ups and downs this season, he takes 5th place. Some good points catching up to Gasho, his teammate. Scored some decent points for Polestar. As Villeneuve is going to cross the line in 6th, score his first point since the first round of the season. Verstappen takes 7th, easily the best result of the season for NLE Motorsport. Chris Hoy takes 8th, his first point since his win in Argentina. Vettel takes 9th to make it 2 point scoring in a row. Flourishing 10th, that is a solid amount of points for her first of the season. Double points for NLE Motorsport. They're going to be absolutely thrilled with that result. Senna takes 11th. Button is 12th and into the pits on the last lap for some unknown reason. Is he going to cross the line? He does. Jensen Button just about crosses the line, finishing 12th. As Perez is the last car, or the first car to be lapped, he takes 13th and points for Bangalore. Mansell takes points with George from 14th, and actually Damon Hill makes a double point scoring for George GP. And he comes across the line in 15th thanks to Clark's retirement. Prost just misses out, Felix Costa takes 17th, Clark retires in 18th. Gurney 19th and Watson 20th, Hakkinen in 21st. Well, that was the United States Grand Prix. I hope you've enjoyed the race. If you have done, please head to the YouTube link. Go down, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you're not. If you're not involved in the championship, follow the link in the description to the Race Department thread where the championship's happening. Got plenty of space on the grid. Anyone can join, you just need to come along, bring a livery, you can see what's happening. The rules are in the first post in the thread. It's quite long, but it covers every base. Once you get involved, fantastic game. So as I said, I hope you enjoyed as Gilles Villeneuve goes rallycrossing for reasons. And yeah, I hope you join us for the next race in a week's time. We'll be at Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. As it is, goodbye.